Hello everybody, it is Middling Mondays once again, and today I predict a bloodbath. We've got the Crydd rocking the Chaos Lord in the name of Khorne, ready to slay many silly dogs of the Emperor. And in order to stop him, who better than an Inquisitor of the Ordo Hereticus, leading an Imperial Guard force, played by Souvlaki. I feel like this is going to be chaotic. Do you get it? Chaotic. Anyway, here we go. Sentinel is already engaging the Chaos Lord. Pew-pewing at him, but the Chaos Lord is there in his Terminator armor. Tanking the damage, no problem whatsoever. Sentinel just going to cheekily try and go for a decap. I mean, honestly, the Chaos Lord's default DPS is so bad that he could have just gone for the decap anyway. I probably would have myself. Guardsmen on this side looking a little bit vulnerable to the heretics. They're actually just going to run down this middle again. Chaos Lord is doing a decent job here. Delaying and disrupting. He does need to get out. Oh, he's going to die to Hammer of the Witches on retreat. That was risky. Ah, yes. Well observed by young Souvlaki there. That was nice observation. Obviously seen the Chaos Lord with us overextending, moved their Inquisitor across into the mid and got that snipe in retreat, and now the Inquisitor is set up perfectly to deal with the CSM. She could obviously easily tie them up in melee, and then all the guardsmen nearby can do their pew-pew. So a really nice initial opening engagement for Souvlaki. And because they've done so well with the initial engagement, they didn't even have to purchase any sergeants, which means their requisition income is higher, as well as their base requisition as well. I would really double down on that and get even more generators than normal. Now, obviously, if they don't get any generators, that will optimize the speed at which they can get something like Cadishans, which is probably what they're going for. Yes, it is. So there they go. They're going for optimal Cadishan speed, but I don't really think it was necessary to get the Cadishans out that quickly because you're already winning the fights, right? So it's not like you need the Cadishans to push off the enemy and get the map control. Now you're already winning, so just double down on it. Don't upgrade the Guardsmen and get more power. But anyway, Cadishans are going to come out now. Looks like the Heretics might wipe as well. Oh my god, Crydd. You rusty motherfucker. He loses the Heretics as well. Wow. Talk about overextensions. This is a horrendous start for the Crydd. Havocs are already on the field, but they're not really in position right now. They're not even set up. Of course, the Inquisitor can just stun the lead model anyway with Hammer of the Witches, so they're just going to finish the decap, but the DPS here from the Chaos Army is just not really very significant. Crydd completely fucks up on his kill of the week as well, misses everything. We actually see the Holy Brazier coming out for the Inquisitor. I like it. She's putting in a damn lot of work in melee. It makes sense to equip her with this weapon, which will make her do much higher damage in melee, particularly to all these heavy infantry units. Cadishans meet the Chaos Lord, who is also stunned by the Sentinel Stomp, and the Chaos Lord has to fall back. Havocs are going to move up into position, but of course the Cadishans are there, able to old reliable them. The Havocs do not have full HP either, so they're going to start dropping models pretty soon if he's not careful. Still only one generator of Souvlaki. I'm not sure if they're saving up for the requisition for spotters. They're actually going to buy the Rosarius as well for the Inquisitor. Classic combo this. It's the optimal build that you can go for to make your Inquisitor as good as possible against melee. Heretics do go for the surround on the Sentinel. If the Sentinel did not have Stomp in that situation, it would have been pinned in place, unable to move due to having a perfect surround. But unfortunately for the Crydd, it did have Stomp. Oh my god, these Heretics are getting battered around all over the gaff. Knocked over by Stomp, knocked over by the Explosive Shot, knocked over by IEDs. Actually becoming really close to dying, but now the Chaos Lord is back into the action. Now equipped with the Combi Flamer. Ooh, Havoc's just catch out the Inquisitor there. That was really lucky. One strike plus a Hammer of the Witches would have wiped the Chaos Havocs. So that was really close to death. Some Guardsmen are being immolated over here. They need to retreat. Yeah, Chaos Lord handles the infantry there, forces them off. just misses out on the Hammer of the Witches. Level 2 Inquisitor already, you're doing pretty well. So, Souvlaki drops the generators at last. So, not going to go for spotters, just going to rely on this army to carry him forward. I think that's fine. You got 2 soft suppression counters with the Hammer of the Witches. I don't know why I just scrolled over the Holy Brazier. And the Old Reliable for the Kadishans as well. Obviously, if you flank around, you can stomp them as well. So, you know, really, that's 3 soft counters to the Havocs. Because the Crid did lose his Chaos Lord early as well as the Heretics, you're only fighting 3 squads of... well, squads of anything. And that means that the Havocs generally will not have that much support. Or at least, if they do have a lot of support, then you can have your whole army blobbed up to fight it, because they're not going to be capping the map. The map is looking terrifyingly red at the moment, and given that the Crid is now getting a second Havoc, Souvlaki is going to be massively ahead in eco. I suspect at this point if Souvlaki just saves up for tier 2 and drops down a Banewolf as soon as possible, they can probably just win the game at that point. So I guess that's not going to happen because this is obviously a long replay, or I wouldn't be casting it. Oh, a little bit of a micro fuck up here, not actually capturing the requisition, that's a bit unfortunate. Something has to happen here for Crid to get back in this game. He is so far behind right now. He really needs to get some sort of squad wipes. I mean, don't get me wrong, Double Havocs is a nice build against IG, particularly in tier 2. That's going to be pretty brutal with the double auto cannon potential. Ooh, so here we go, squad wipe. Sentinel's dead. Massively overcommitting there. I don't know if he'd actually seen the second Havoc. Maybe he hadn't. Obviously, he just thought there was only one, so he could get in and stomp it, but... nope, there was another Havoc, and that DPS down the Sentinel. Quick time. And now the infantry blob of the IG is suppressed, not able to do a whole lot. Oh, now getting immolated. The Inquisitor is getting focused by double Havocs and a CSM squad. She has to get out of there, even the Rosarius can't help her with that. Honestly, at this point, the Chaos Lord would be served just by going into range stance, just chilling with the CSM. Pretty nice VP lead actually from Souvlaki at this point. I think he's still in a position where he can drop the Banewolf relatively quickly though. He does have the red, I think it's 125 for a Banewolf, if I recall correctly. I think if he drops that Banewolf as soon as tier 2 starts and rushes this power farm, just takes it out ASAP, he'll be in a great position even with that Sentinel loss. Eternal War is now up on the CSM, making them do 20% extra damage. You can see that effect here. Really threatening all these light infantry troops of the Imperial Guard. Dropping them left, right and centre. Good little flank from the Inquisitor here. Gets into the side of the Havocs, and with that Holy Brazier is actually doing quite a lot of damage. They need to be really careful. One more hit and this real one's going to die. No, she turns her attention to the other one. Gonna try and get into melee, but this Havoc should set up in time to suppress her again. Yeah, she needs to get out of there. Too dangerous. I was just about to say, I think Crid might be overextending that Chaos Lord once again. He's got to bear in mind the Old Reliable as well. That'll do at least 40 damage to the Chaos Lord in retreat. He's really playing with fire here. Wait. What did Souvlaki dump all their resources into? Oh, here we go. Fully upgraded Guardsman. Double fully upgraded Guardsman. Okay, well this is where the mistake happened. Souvlaki right now, if he got the Banewolf instead of this, there's no counter. There's literally nothing. It would have took too long for these things to upgrade with their marks. He would have just destroyed the entire gen farm, and then he can just keep the Banewolf on this side of the map defending the natural VP. constantly. It would have forced the Havocs to get a mark and then send them over here. It's too far out of the way. You send your Havocs over here, the Inquisitor can easily just force them off. And then you get to have your Cadishans and Guardsmen constantly pressure down the sides. You could even drop like a Medibunker here. Since obviously you don't want to get a Chimera since they're already going to have AV because you've got the Bane Wolf. So that's basically a crucial error that Souvlaki has done. Nice use of the Holy Pyre there though. Holy Pyre not only is decent because of the damage that it does, but it also debuffs the damage that the enemy does to you when they're nearby to it. Makes the Inquisitor easily solo those AC ticks. And we see a Chimera coming out now. I mean, it's obviously not a bad choice. It makes a lot of sense actually at this point. Especially because TheCrydd is really doubling down on melee. Holy shit. He's got fully upgraded Khorne Marines, they've got Eternal War, they've got their Aspiring Champion, and he's got Bloodletters. Wow, he's playing... I mean, look, I said there was going to be a bloodbath. Here we go. Melee units of Khorne coming out all over the place. I don't know how effective it's going to be though, we'll have to see. Obviously with the Chimera, melee units are a little bit reduced in effectiveness because you just hop in the Chimera and drive away and hop out again, try and bleed them. But he can zone the Chimera using things like autocannons. Obviously he doesn't have any yet because he doesn't actually, well, he hasn't seen the Chimera. Now he does though. This Havoc is moving way too close to double fully upgraded Plasma Guardsmen. What are they doing? Okay, well they have to retreat out of there. Bloodletters teleport in, but they're going to get knocked away by the Cadishans, and now all of the Guardsmen get out, and that is a shitload of piercing DPS to the light infantry armor of the Bloodletters. One of them is banished back to the warp immediately. Two, in fact. It's quite a lot of bleed. Not really a very successful engagement for the TheCrydd. The TheCrydd is going to mass retreat, probably anticipating that there is going to be a timing push towards his gen farm, and he wants the... Well, he needs to get some AV up, doesn't he? Doesn't want to be doing that in the middle of the battlefield since Chaos have to immobilize themselves whilst they're getting their AV, unfortunately for Chaos. Man, 100 requisition and 6 power pissed away there in that last engagement, losing those 2 Bloodletters. And the TheCrydd is just going to go tier 3 with all this pressure and being behind on VPs. Wow, I find that very unusual. I would have saved up for a Dreadnought. Fuck tier 3, man. You need to win this fight. Oh, another nice Holy Pyre. I'm really not sure that the Bloodletters needed to retreat there. They could have just warp shifted. Wow, that was an amazing special attack from the Inquisitor. Did fucking gigantic damage to the KCSM. Old Reliable coming through this building for whatever reason and gibbing a Khorne Marine. Damn. Khorne Marines really need to be attacking from flanks. They're not being used very well here. Just charging them head forward is not really... It's really very effective use of them. I mean, you would think it would be, right? They're Khorne Berserkers, but they just get shot to pieces. You need to be like flanking around the edge, or just send them down this side. Get them to cap the VP instead. They're really good solo fighters because they can beat pretty much everything 1v1. Khorne Marines versus Cadishans. I mean, they'll beat them as long as the Cadishan doesn't have Visage. They do though, so they probably will lose. But it'll be close. Khorne Marines are really quick. Some nice specials from the Bloodletters. They're doing some decent damage. The problem is that the Guardsmen just get inside the Chimera. Now another Bloodletter has died. This is just not a good economic engagement for the TheCrydd. He's bleeding way more than the IG is. I'd like to see an autocannon. Just because I don't think a last cannon on its own is going to be enough of a threat against the Chimera. I guess it doesn't really matter, he's gone for tier 3, he's probably just waiting for Terminators at this point. A tank could be really good as well, I mean there's no AV on the field. A tank could be great actually to try and snipe the Chimera. Then you could make it like a Nurgle tank. Souvlaki is actually floating shitloads. I don't know how he's floating so much, but he's going tier 3. Probably should use some of that red to drop in some Stormtroopers. He's floating so much requisition. Chimera should get out of there. I feel like spotters haven't done a lot. I've just stopped seeing them using their shells recently. That was a little bit of a miss micro. mortars himself for nothing down there for whatever reason. Little bit of a micro error. Smoke shell comes in. Really premature retreat there. I don't know what that was all about. Souvlaki seems to be panicking a little bit. What's exactly going on? Bloodletters I really do not think have been a good purchase. Honestly, I often do question the purpose of Bloodletters against IG. They are only light infantry armor, remember, so the lasguns actually will do decent damage to them. That's one of the reasons I think Raptors are a lot better against IG. They're heavy infantry armor. Chimera's probably going to die here. Oh, no. Inquisitor actually is tied up the Las Havocs. Con Marines get a better engagement here. They actually do come in from the flank, but unfortunately by the time they do it, everything else has kind of been forced off, so now they're isolated fighting against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squads. Not ideal. And Souvlaki is actually dropping a generator on the contested power point and already has a Lehman Russ coming out. Oh my god, what the fuck happened there? TheCrydd got to tier 3 way sooner. I guess he's just bleeding loads and Souvlaki isn't bleeding at all. This looks really bad for TheCrydd. He's behind on VPs. There is a Lehman Russ coming out. I mean, what's he saving up for? He must be saving up for a Land Raider Phobos. I hope he is. A Guo is going to get melted by all the plasma and potentially an Executioner on the Lehman Russ. Land Raider Phobos, though, that will be able to hold its own for sure. Chaos Lord kind of falling off now. Mostly just relegated to being a capping unit. His tankiness from tier 1 just isn't good enough against fully upgraded guardsmen. The Chimera as well. Oh, Chaos Terminators, okay. Alright. I mean, I don't dislike the Terminator choice. I just feel like a Predator would have been nice simply because the Chaos haven't actually fielded any vehicles yet. Decent counters are already on the field to the Terminators in the plasma guns from these guardsmen. When I say they're a counter, but you can see the damage that they do at the moment. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. But the thing is, Terminators can't retreat. So any damage that you do get onto them is pretty decent, because it's going to take them a long time to get back to base and actually heal it off. So the Lehman Russ kind of just charges forward, but it doesn't really achieve much because it's shooting at Worship Bloodletters, which will heal at 10 HP per second. And the actual DPS on the cannon on the Lehman Russ is only 17 DPS by default. It's pretty shit. And obviously he's dissuaded by the last cannon here from the Havocs. Lehman Russ should probably be running down here and pursuing the Terminators, getting some crucial shots off on them and making them fall off and retreat. Honestly, I don't actually like the Terminator choice. I think it's actually really bad. He is fighting Inquisitor, who has access to many stuns and snares. Not only is there the Pegasus, which will stun them and do... Wow. Kind of messed up on the timing of the Pegasus there, unfortunately, so he didn't get the stun off. But not only is the Pegasus there, which can stun the Terminators, there is also the option of the Assail, which will stare them in place, and then you can just shoot them to pieces with all your Plasma and Melter. I think an Executioner Lehman Russ would be amazing here. Yeah, you can see the default damage on the cannon from the Lehman is just really pitiful. Especially when it shoots terrain, eh? Yeah, I think the Executioner would be perfect. That would give it a really nice modifier to do even more damage against the Terminators, as well as the Havocs and the CSM. Okay, TheCrydd's got a good idea now with the Con Marines, actually using them to cap the size of the map. That's what he should be doing. Exploit the fact that they've got high HP, high speed, and good HP regen.
Your forces obey you.
Souvlaki probably should be getting some Kassakin. Give them the plasma guns, they'll be able to melt the Terminators alongside the rest of you guys with plasma guns. Just a really nice utility unit. Very fast as well with that sprint ability. Do we have double las cannons? Oh my god, we do. What is he doing with the Lehman? Okay, he does get the Lehman Russ back, but wow. Uses a mortar, but honestly, an incendiary shell probably would have been even better there. I don't think he realised that there were double las cannons. Really needs to tie up. Oh my god, he keeps messing up his Pegasus. He's going to lose the Chimera due to it. Oh, wow. That is a shame. He's clearly just not very experienced at using Pagatus. The thing with Pagatus, I don't know if you guys are aware, it's actually not something that's actually very commonly known. Let's just see this engagement unfold first. Corn Berserkers once again coming in from the flank doing huge damage, forcing off the Cadicians. I feel like they just ran completely past the spotters, who they could have quite easily killed. But I don't feel like the spotters are being used very well anyway. Oh, the spotters are going to die. Berserkers are about to get into melee with them. Yeah, they're fucked. Sorry guys, but you are screwed. Is that sync kill? Nope, they're just dead. So Pagatus, right? It shoots out these rings of fire around the Inquisitor, which will stun any units that they pass through, so you can potentially stun an entire army with them, which is cool. But if you can manually dissipate the ring whenever you want by clicking the ability again, and the thing is, any units that are caught within the ring when it dissipates will take 200 HP damage. And that will wipe things like heretics, who have less than 200 HP per model. It's a very powerful ability for getting model snipes. And it seems that he keeps trying to use that, but it's not really working. Lehman Russ is trying to tank the damage, but there's nothing disrupting the havoc. He's done it again with the Pagatus. What the hell? Why does he do this? But wow, that was a really effective rocket run. It looks like the Terminators are actually going to die. Terminators committed their teleport to get onto Lehman Russ and melee it down with their power fists. And that means they're going to die. Wow, rocket run was fucking incredible. Seemed to wipe out both of the Havocs. Havocs did manage to take down the Lehman Russ just beforehand. Now this is where Berserkers fail, when they just charge into melee against triple plasma guns and actually grenade on the way in as well. Now they're just going to bleed a lot. So Predator's coming out, but the thing is Souvlaki can actually nearly afford a Lehman Russ again. I mean, it is going to be a while, and the thing is, at this point, the game is basically a matter of VPs. Both players are super low on VPs. Wow, look at the HP on that Bloodletter. I think Souvlaki's got it.
If that victory point is lost,
there's just no requisition for the Crydd. It's played way too much. It's forced to bring the Corn Marines out of base with only about 70% HP. Not ideal. I mean, they'll be able to rip these Guardsmen to pieces, but I don't know if they'll do it even before the cap happens. Need to proc another special. Nope, too slow. Now there's a triple cap against him, and he's probably screwed. Too busy hunting down the Guardsmen, trying to force them off, unable to cap due to it. Yeah, really not ideal. You can see once the Berserkers are actually in melee and they get the resistance against ranged attacks as well as the extra HP regen from being in melee, they don't really take much damage at all. Look at their regen whilst they're in melee. Yeah, they get some really nice regen in melee, it's cool. So they do handle the Guardsmen, and it looks like they will have time to get the cap, I mean, quite easily, but the thing is, there's going to be a Lehman Russ coming out again soon. There might even be a Baneblade. No, there's not. What am I on about? There's not going to be a Baneblade. Souvlaki does not have the time for that. He needs to get a Lehman out ASAP. Predator's quite nice. Should be able to deal with this Inquisitor. Oh wow. Looks like the Berserkers ate another grenade. And that's going to be them wiped. Oh, just micro fuck-ups from the Crydd, unfortunately. Where are they teleporting to? Okay, Bloodletter's going to go for the natural VP. The Crydd's got the Predator sat on the center. That's going to work relatively well, I guess. Souvlaki actually opting to drop in Stormtroopers with a Melter kit. Interesting. Not going for the Lehman Russ. Quite a curious decision, if I'm honest. Chaos Lord will be able to handle the Kassakin. Obviously, he can just chase them down and beat them up in melee. They're not going to have the DPS to finish them off on his own, but the problem is that he's not capping right now, and this is a red VP. Crydd's alright though, because they've got the Bloodletters and the natural. Oh, but the Stormtroopers actually sneak behind the Predator, and it is dead. And with the Kassakin backed up by double Guardsman, the Chaos Lord is going to have to retreat. Cadishans are going to continue the cap in the mid. Well, all the Stormtroopers, I guess it doesn't really matter. Just too much DPS. Even when the Bloodletters get into melee perfectly, they're just getting shot to pieces before they can actually do the job. Bit of a desperation Imperial Abyss there from TheCrydd. Souvlaki wisely retreats out of it because the Imperial Abyss will pull units in. And remember that all these squads of IG do actually have Dielast models in them. So if one of them gets pulled into the centre of the rift, it could be the end of the squad. But it won't pull them in retreat in Elite Mod, unlike Retail where it did. TheCrydd's got his Heretics capping the natural VP of his own again, but Metal Stormtroopers have decapped the VP on the other side. Bloodletters are going to put an end to that though, but Bloodletters are notoriously bad at killing units that are fleeing from them, because they don't have any melee charge. So they really struggle to keep up. Holy Pyre coming down, doing some pretty good DPS actually. But unfortunately TheCrydd just doesn't have enough units. He's going to get another Predator, but I don't know. It's going to be too little too late, I think. There's just too many squads on the field. A Predator can't kill all this shit quick enough. Even Plasma Guns do a little bit of tickle to the Predator, and it's not like he's going to have time to repair it. Heretics need to be capping constantly. It's going to be a triple cap against TheCrydd soon. I think that's going to be the end of it for him, unfortunately. That rocket run in the mid, which killed the 2 Havocs, was pretty decisive. I mean, I don't know. There were obviously a lot of mistakes here from TheCrydd in this game. I'm actually quite surprised he managed to get this game being as close as it was. Losing his Chaos Lord so early on, as well as Heretics, not ideal. But crucially in the late game, just teleporting the Terminators forward to get the Power Fist hits and the Ring of Rust, I don't really think it was necessary, and yeah, it's kind of screwed him, because as soon as he lost his Terminators, he wasn't in a good spot, but I don't think the Terminators were a good choice anyway. Nice Purgatus to end the game on. I would have liked to have seen the Predator come out sooner, snipe the Chimera a little earlier, and put some pressure on. I'm trying to remember what actually Souvlaki did wrong here to allow TheCrydd to get back into it. I mean, the one fatal thing that I pointed out that Souvlaki did wrong was as soon as he got into tier 2, rather than getting the Bane Wolf or a Chimera, you can get a Chimera as well if you don't want to be as cheesy, but I think in this game, at least from observing it, it was quite obvious that the Bane Wolf would have just finished the game there and then. Instead of doing that, he opted to get the double fully upgraded Guardsmen. Obviously they did well, but I don't think they needed to do well. Just get the Bane Wolf, destroy all the gens, and then upgrade your Guardsmen after. Then TheCrydd would never have got tier 3, and there wouldn't have been an option to have to start fighting these Predators. But either way, that's the game, and it's going to go in favour of Souvlaki. Thank you for tuning in, guys. That'll be all from me. Torpid out.